because in 2003, when Dalkey Archive Press in America were reprinting Leduc's best-selling biography, La Bâtarde, The Bastard, Violette was the illegitimate daughter of a domestic servant, and her mother her possessive mother is in all her books. She doesn't seem to be able to kind of shake her off, and she writes really searingly about that. But I hadn't heard of her. And I was asked to write the introduction alongside Simone de Beauvoir's 1968 introduction. And how I've become Violette Leduc's unofficial and unpaid publicist is actually getting quite angry about Simone de Beauvoir's introduction. And this is a strange thing because, in fact, the formidable and perhaps rather superior Chignard Simone was Violette's mentor. She really gave her a leg up, you know. She told France that she was an amazing talent. But there was something that she slyly did too in her introduction, in my view, which is that she positioned Leduc as a kind of outsider, totally unavailable to you and me. And she said, oh yes, this biography Leduc is writing, she's writing it as if no one is listening. Now, I can tell you that no writer writes like no one's listening, and we sort of kid ourselves, even that people are, even if they're not. And Simone de Beauvoir certainly didn't think, no one was listening to her. But the odd thing was that Violette Leduc had addressed the reader all through her biography, dear reader, dear reader. So it was a very strange thing to say. So, here we have Thérèse and Isabelle. It's about two 17-year-old schoolgirls, boarding school, France, I reckon 1930s. Violette Leduc says that what she was trying to do in it was to describe as precisely as possible, as minutely as possible, the physical sensations of sexual love. And when she delivered this manuscript to Gallimard, her publisher, in 1956, they said, no way, we'll be taken to court. That was an odd thing to do too, because we'd had Bataille, The Story of the Eye, published before then, and that, and Sard and even D.H. Lawrence, but it was something to do with the female libido driving the narrative. The way that Leduc just walked her female characters right into the world, had them love freely, inhabit public space freely. It just wasn't going to, Gallimard didn't like it. So here we have, published by Salammbo Press, translated by Sophie Lewis, the first uncensored English translation. It's very hard to read. Violette Leduc's sort of rhythms, literary rhythms, are so strange. I'm going to do my best. So the two girls, Violette and Isabelle, decide that they're sick of creeping into each other's beds in the dormitory, and that they want to find a place outside of school to spend some time together. And they discover this hotel, which is a sort of genteel brothel, and they're very nervous. And they stand arm in arm, and Thérèse is carrying Isabelle's handbag, and they're waiting for the madame, the owner of the hotel, to come and find them. Isabelle stood up. We have come for a room. Madame Algazine contemplated us and played with her pearl necklace. We should like to hire one for about an hour, said Isabelle. A cage suspended from a ring swung to and fro, and the bird inside it gave little peeps. I see, said Madame Algazine. She tossed her pearls behind her so they hung down her back. "You are minors," she said. She pranced off into the courtyard. Isabelle ground her teeth. But there she was coming back, this time with a tender lettuce leaf, which she poked between the bars of the swinging cage. Then she headed back into the courtyard just as buoyantly. I stood up and called, "Madame!" "Right away, my little ones, right away," she said condescendingly. "Madame!" said Isabelle resolutely. She reappeared once more. "I told you we would like to hire a room." Madame Malgazine opened her eyes wide. "Why did you not say so when you came in, my little kittens?" "We did say it." The wound in our minds was grey. "You are minors, obviously." "Yes," we replied together. "Are you boarders at the school? You are wearing your uniform." "We will pay you. We have the money," said Isabelle. "You'll pay afterwards," said Madame Algazine. Isabelle unbuttoned her cardigan, but I put myself in front of her. Madame Algazine would see nothing of any chest beyond what was shielding it. "Will you take a drop of port? Will you want to eat a few tea cakes in your room?" "We will drink and eat whatever you like," said Isabelle. "Show us the way." "We're not shy, are we?" Madame Algazine opened the glass door. She pointed to the stairs with her necklace, which she handled as one would handle a hosepipe. "Electricity is expensive, gas too, oil too, and matches. Everything is expensive," said Madame Algazine in the voice of her true nature. The staircase was dark. On the landing we passed decrepit rooms, folding beds that had burst open. We bumped into boxes of crockery, drifts of falling plaster, ragged curtains. Madame Algazine showed us the way, her eyes sliding over everything. "Yours will be the first door," she said. "Thank you," said Isabelle. "I'll bring you your port shortly." Madame Algazine retreated alone and old down the sordid staircase. Isabelle took the key from the keyhole. She went in first. "To bed," she said. She wanted to close the door, but she could not quite manage, so she threw the key at the mantelpiece, where it fell to the floor. She flung her boarder's straw hat to the back of the room and pushed the table against the door. "Take off your hat," she said reproachfully. "We aren't paying anyone a visit here." She sent my hat flying at the mirrored mirror and undid my hair. "Lie down with me on the tiles," she said. My mouth met her mouth as a dead leaf meets the earth. We sank into that long kiss. We recited our wordless litanies. We were greedy. We smeared our faces with the saliva passed between us. We stared without recognizing each other. "Someone's moving in the next door room," I said. She sat up. I tortured her when I made her wait. "Someone is moving in the room next door. Look, Isabelle, look in that wall." "It's a spy hole," she said. "They can see us. I'm sure they can see us." "Who are they?" said Isabelle. "I don't know. The people in the room. Listen. They make the sound our bed springs make in the dorm." "Forget other people and lie down. Better than that," Isabelle said, and then she scratched me. "Someone knocked." "Open it," she said. "It's the door." Someone tried to push the door open. "What have you done here? Have you barricaded yourselves inside?" I picked up the key. I pulled away the table. Madame Algazine pushed her head through the opening. "You can take the tray from the landing yourself, since you've locked yourself in." Lying on the floor in the middle of the room, Isabelle crossed her arms over her face. "Come here," said Isabelle. "Come here. Why are you still in your clothes?" My chest was burning through my dress. Isabelle slapped me. I took off her clothes. I laid them out one by one on the folding bed. She was naked, severe, standing very straight in the center of the room. I was kissing her knee, looking at myself in the mirror, loving my gaze upon myself. You're neglecting me, said Isabelle. I'm wondering if you love me. I didn't feel like answering yes.